in Athens. It's a really nice time to be here, and this year's been especially nice. We've actually had the hottest October since 2010, they said the other day. And I looked back last year to see what it was like at this time of year, even in September and October, and it was definitely cooler last year. I know that last year in October, in like the middle to late, we were definitely wearing jackets at night. It was warm during the day, but this year, it is November 7th. I am still wearing sandals and lightweight clothes, even in the evening. Only one evening have I thought, oh, I need a light sweater. I would say this is not normal though. I would say that by November, it's usually cool enough that you're gonna want something heavier in the evening. You will see if you're here that people are still eating outside. Not that that doesn't happen all the year, but it's still happening without heaters. In fact, I'm on my way to go meet a friend for an ice cream. We are also going to one of the best ice cream gelato places in Athens, over here called Django. They actually have a location in Syros, which is where they started, but this one is just as good. I already got into mine, but I got just chocolate, and my friend got, what did you get again? Aztec chocolate and pear sorbet. So every day they have different flavors. So my favorite is pistachio, but they didn't have that today. Our ice cream thing turned into several hours of talking, but it is now evening, as you can see. And normally in the summer, this little pedestrian street is jam full because A, Greeks like to walk out here in the summer, but also the Acropolis is here, the Acropolis Museum is here, so super crowded. I posted something to my Instagram stories the other day, a picture of the Acropolis from over here by the ticket booth, and someone said to me, where are all the crowds? I don't understand. And I'm like, well, it's November, the season is over. So the other thing I noticed this week is that Athens has started to put up Christmas decorations already. This is the second light pole of lights that I've seen this week. I can't remember where the other one was, but the other one wasn't lit up already. This one's already lit up. Fall might finally be arriving in Athens. Last night I finally slept without the air conditioning. I woke up, it was 59 degrees, which is about 18. I think it was 16 degrees overnight. And I sat out here with my coffee this morning, and I had to make sure I put pants on because my legs were cold. Let's see. Sometimes at this time of year, it's cool one day and then it gets really warm. Like it's already starting to get warm, especially if you're sitting in the sun. Today, it has been trying to rain all day. It hasn't actually rained. It's just very cloudy, very overcast, and then we'll get a little hint of sun. And it's not even gonna get above 70 degrees, which is about, I think 21 in Celsius. Let me just show you these clouds. It doesn't look as dark on camera as it does in person, but then it's like sunny here and then dark over there. And I think the clouds shifted directions a while ago, because for a while it was coming from this way and now it's coming from the sea. Basically, if you're coming in October, November, December, you need to be prepared for like lots of different kinds of weather. You may not get it, but you know, a week or so before you start to pack, you need to check. I am going to be making a video on what to pack for the shoulder season in Greece, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see that when it comes out. Since it's November, and when I came down here the other day, there was no line. Now this is not the main entrance to the Acropolis, but there is quite a line, a way bigger line than I thought there would be for this time of year. But it is really nice outside. It rained yesterday, so maybe that has something to do with it. It's interesting because all of the Greek people are in like long sleeves and long pants, and I just saw a tourist wearing shorts. So, you know, that kind of tells you about the weather. Let's see if there's a line at the museum. Usually in the summer, there is a line, but usually not at this time of year. But you know, again, this year has been extremely warm and extremely different. There's no line to get in. I don't know what the line looks like inside, but there's no line at security. The wind tells me a lot because originally this video was supposed to be a weekend in Poros, but I booked 2 separate ferries and both of them got canceled. One was canceled yesterday and then one was canceled overnight while I was asleep. So when I woke up this morning, my ferry was canceled and I was like, I don't understand, but it's windy. It's not that windy, but I'm assuming that it's windy out on the sea and that's why. So unfortunately, Poros will have to wait. This is like the 3rd tour that I've seen, like walking through, you know, with a big crowd. You can always spot them because they're in these big crowds and sometimes they have the little microphones on so they can hear the tour leader speaking because the tour is too big. I have walked by this church, which is Agia Ekaterina, I believe. I think it's like this, it's kind of sunken. And I've never noticed there are ruins. There are archaeological ruins here. And I always notice it because the garden is so beautiful. So let's see. It's like a gate. And fortunately, the stuff is so like grown, I can't see into it. Oh, you can go down into it. Oh, very cool. Maybe there's a sign. I think it must be like the remains of a temple. It's hard to say because there's no sign, but it has like this layout of the columns. It's definitely a temple, which kind of makes sense because a lot of the churches here are built where former temples used to be. So this is what I say about coming here is you just have to keep your eyes open because you just never know what you're going to find. I've lived here for 4 years. I've never seen this before. I've walked down all of the little shops. I stopped in my little favorite souvenir shop, Flaneur, which have been in a few of my videos. And now I'm going to walk around and see how busy the rest of Plaka is. I would say that it is still very busy even down here, which is kind of surprising. Now, the people at Flaneur did say they thought they were busy because of the marathon, which kind of makes sense because there are a lot of people who come from everywhere to run the marathon, but they can't all be out today. I would hope they would be resting, but I don't know. Even the Plaka stairs is super busy. It is busy. Now it is prime lunchtime here in Greece. And this is Athens and it's packed. Now it is Saturday, so, and a lot of these people are Greeks. These are not a lot of tourists. Although there are some tourists down here. And Athens, by the way, has expanded. This is all Athens now. Pretty much the whole square seems to be that. So let's go see how Monastiraki is. Surprisingly, Monastiraki is not as crowded as the street. That's shocking, but it's still pretty busy down here. It's busy up going towards the Acropolis and Hadrian's library. There's even a line to get into the Agora, which I don't think I've ever seen. But of course, I don't come down here in the summer. All right, it's crazy busy. I'm not gonna walk down this street because it's too many people. So there's a couple of small races today before the marathon, and it looks like this is a group of runners from different places and taking a very large group photo. Cyprus, it looks like, and maybe a few others. Very cool. And Armu looks very crowded as well. It's part of the reason I didn't walk up Armu because I knew it was going to be crowded. While I feel much better, normal mostly, I'm not used to walking a lot anymore, and this is probably the most I've walked in a while. So I will come back out later in the week and give you a little bit more of a feel of what it's like in autumn here in Athens. It's really nice. I would say this is, you know, it's not normally this warm, but it is nice enough to be outside, maybe with just like a light jacket or a sweater. And obviously there are still things happening. Things are still open. So it's really nice time to come and be here with less crowds. I would say it's probably only this crowded today because A, it's Saturday and the marathon. Good morning. It's now Marathon Sunday here in Athens. So it's already 12:30, so the big finishers have already finished, but of course it will take pretty much all day, I think, for everyone to finish. So far I haven't seen any weird traffic, but these are some of the things that you should be aware of when coming to Athens in autumn. Dates, so starting in late September through the end of December, these are the things I think you should know about. Starting in September, we start to have lots of free days at the archaeological sites and some of the museums. So first one being European Cultural Day, which is the last Sunday, I believe, or the last weekend in September. That varies, so you need to look it up. So the next free day is October 28th, which also happens to be Ohi Day, which is a very big holiday here. And so there's usually a parade that day. So it's always a holiday no matter what day of the week it is. So just be aware that if you're coming in October and you're here on that day, it'll be crowded at the sites and also the streets will be closed. Then the next date you need to be aware of is that starting in November, on the first Sunday of every month, all of the archaeological sites are free until March. The next day is November 17th, which is sort of a remembrance of a protest that happened at the Polytechnic University against the junta government. And there's always protests that day. It's not a holiday, but getting around the city can be nuts because there will be traffic jams because of the protests. So if you're here on that day, I recommend not going to the National Archaeological Museum that day because it's in that area. And the last day is usually the second weekend in December, but sometimes it's the first. It's not very standard, is when the Christmas tree goes up in Syntagma Square. I went last year. It was amazing. I highly recommend it. They had visitors from all over the world and there were lights and bubbles. I have a link to that video down in the description box. Today I'm down in Siri to have lunch with a friend, and the metro was completely jammed full of people and I couldn't believe how crowded it was. It's because of the marathon. It took way longer than it normally does and every train was like jam-packed full. But it's a really beautiful day out as well. As you can see, it's nice and sunny. When I left the house it was like 70 degrees but it felt like 73, but it feels warmer than that. So I'm going to walk home from Siri and I've made it over here to the other side of Monastiraki. So we noticed this new exhibition space and then in here is this church, but look at the cutie gate, the little children. And then what I noticed also is there's a pomegranate tree and it has pomegranates on it, but I can't get inside. Anyway, I don't even know the name of any of it, but it's adorable. Good morning, guys. Yes, my ironing board is behind me. Whole different story. But I wanted to share with you that this morning when I woke up, it was 54 degrees and it feels amazing outside. It finally feels like fall here. But the nice thing is it's still a super sunny day. Let's see. It's so sunny. It's like, you know, being blasted out in the camera, but the sky is mostly blue and it finally feels, you know, crisp and fall-like outside. I wanted to come out and see what it was like at night, and I came through here around 6 o'clock and it was busier then than it is now. It's about 10 o'clock now, which I think is kind of unusual because usually in Greece everybody is out late and it's really nice. Today it got up to 80 degrees here, which is about 23 Celsius, so I'm a little bit shocked that it's not busy out. Now it's Wednesday, but I don't know. Maybe everybody's sitting on their own balcony at home instead of like being out here. Now, I do have to walk all the way home, and I do walk past a couple of streets that have pedestrian, like streets where there are lots of restaurants. So if they're busy, I'll show you that. Okay, so the trick is, if it's busy in the non-tourist area, so this is the other pedestrian street, it's definitely hopping. The other place was not as busy as this, but still pretty busy. So if you want a more authentic experience, definitely in the off-season, even in the regular season, come down out of the tourist areas, come to Kukaki, hang out with the locals. However, I'm going home and going to bed. This is gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.